Welcome back to Straight Talk with Billy Kay. I'm Billy Keyserling, the man who's fortunate to be the mayor of my hometown, Beaufort, South Carolina. One of the principal tasks of the mayor is to communicate, and through my website, www.mayorbilly.com, through my newsletters, Straight Talk with Billy Kay, and News from Billy Kay, I try to do my best to help people understand what's coming on and happening in the city of Beaufort. Last time we talked with Councilman Mike McPhee about tourism funding and the kinds of tourists and the different organizations that compete for very, very limited dollars. Very often in the minds of people, they think that tourism is driven solely by putting heads in beds or by filling the waterfront park. But there's cultural tourism. And there's historical tourism. So today we're going to talk about the what I call is the performed word films and the written word storytelling and short stories. But today I have with me to start Ron Tucker, who's the founder, president, and chief dishwasher and cook.
That's right.
For the Beaufort Film Society, which is going into your fourth?
This will be our 4th year for the Film Society and the 7th year for the festival.
7th year for the festival. Festival is a lot of fun, so before he even tells you about it, I invite you to come. But why don't you sell it, Ron? Tell us what we can expect this year and what we had last year.
Well, coming up, as I said, it will be our 7th festival. The festival is February 13th through the 17th. And we're anticipating as big a crowd as last year. We had nearly 7,000 people attending the festival last year, which was up from the 5,000 from the year before. It's going to be a lot of the same as far as the format for the festival. The opening ceremony will be on a Wednesday evening, the 13th, with the movies playing on Thursday, Friday, and Saturday, with the award ceremony on Saturday night.
And actually, the film's going all day long.
They go all day long, and that's something that's unique if you compare us to other festivals where a lot of times those festivals in other towns may start at 4 o'clock in the afternoon. Ours start at 9 o'clock in the morning. We've tried very hard not to start them that early, but the submissions that come into us, when you look at the total runtime, we really have to back that up. Which is good because we used to start them at 8 o'clock in the morning, so 9 is good.
So if you like to watch movies all day and all night for a pretty good fee,
that's right.
Come to the Beaufort Film Festival. Tell us about some of the people who come from elsewhere and bring their films or the submissions.
Well, the submissions come from all over the world. This year we have more foreign entries than we've ever had. We also have more student entries than we've ever had. In fact, about 1/4 of all of our total submissions this year are from students' films being submitted from schools all over the world. We've received more foreign film schools submissions this year than we've ever had. We have about 20 films submitted from Spain alone.
Really?
And this year we're represented already in film submissions by about 20 countries.
20 countries.
20 countries.
Sending films to little old Beaufort, South Carolina.
Little old Beaufort, South Carolina.
For you to see.
And surprisingly, last year we had about 30 states represented as well. So they're coming from all over. We attract a lot of people from the region, the Southeast, but we had filmmakers from New York, California, and really just all over. And this year's going to be the same.
And my sense is these are people who come back to the festival, but equally important, might come back and vacation here or come hopefully make films here.
Absolutely, and that was part of how the film festival got started, is we wanted to attract the new generation of filmmakers back to Beaufort. As you know, we had quite a run there for a while. Our last major motion picture filmed in Beaufort was in 1999. So, and it's generating some interest. We had a young filmmaker last year, Felix Martiz, who's having a great run. He's starting his next film. His film that was here last year, Santiago, just won Best Picture at another film festival, and he's starting on a second film. So we are making an impact on some new filmmakers. Jonathan Flora, as you may recall from 2 or 3 years ago, he and his wife Deborah are really exploring doing a major motion picture on the life of Robert Smalls. And if that happens, then we will have accomplished at least one thing we wanted to do with the film festival, and that's attract a filmmaker that would come here and make a movie in Beaufort.
But you know, the industry has changed so much. I can, if I get something interesting on my little camera, I can post it. And it can become viral and seen by everybody. So on the one hand, maybe we're not getting the big films, but with a little d, the democratization of the industry, so that anyone who is creative, imaginative, with modest equipment can get started. So that's probably why you're seeing the student submissions, which means there are going to be more people competing, and it may be a rebirth of film.
I think you're right. And the technology has changed so much in the last 7 years. It's really unbelievable. One of the things that we look for when a film is submitted, they have to give us certain information about the film. And we look at the camera that it was shot with. And for the film schools, for example, they have really, literally all the bells and whistles that goes with their department. North Carolina School of the Arts, for example, all the music is original music composed by their orchestra there at the School of the Arts. Now, one thing the students has to remember is when he graduates or she graduates, they're on their own. They are then Felix Martise. They're doing it on their own in what he calls guerrilla filmmaking. He goes out with whatever camera equipment he can come up with. Gary Weeks a few years ago, same thing. He hired 6, or actually he recruited 6 of his buddies, didn't really hire them, but had 6 of his buddies help him shoot the film. So Gary is the lead actor in one scene and he's holding a boom mic in the next. So,
but he doesn't get paid like Robert Duvall or
no, they don't get paid much at all, if any.
Again, that's the change. One day he may have his
Exactly.
day. I mean, we had the young group from Beaufort that went over and competed and did pretty well in an interesting show over in Savannah. I don't remember. They basically given 24 hours or something.
Yeah, one of the things that's happening is a lot of areas, especially areas that have film festivals, are starting 48-hour film projects or 24-hour film projects, and really it's to see what you can do. We at the Film Society just picked up a young student, high school student, who's going to work with us, and he just amazed me with the knowledge that he had already. He's been I guess a film aficionado for many years and knew things that a 17-year-old shouldn't know about movies made in the 30s and 40s. So, and we had a young student last year, and she was the same way. She was an old soul in a young body, and but people love movies, and they love the film festival because you're going to see things at the film festival you won't see in the normal movie theater.
So when is the film festival?
The film festival is February 13th through the 17th, 2013, just a short while from now.
So we have Thanksgiving, Christmas, and then the Beaufort Film Festival.
That's it.
How I know you have an online presence. Why don't you tell the viewers how they can get online and find the schedule, and I think they can purchase tickets online to the events.
Well, the tickets will be available December 1st, and you can go to BeaufortFilmFestival.com at that time, and the film festival ticket prices will be posted at that time. The finalists for the festival won't be named until the 15th of December. At that time, we will have a better idea of who's coming to the festival and who's not, and what films will be represented. But it's a great opportunity, and we encourage everyone to come.
Only have about a minute left, but how do you select the winners? I know there are no losers.
The people who get selected are really, it's a judging process. We have a 3-tiered process. We have a group of judges. They have to score a minimum of a certain score, 40 being the top score. But really we're looking at 4 categories, and that's technical, content, impact, and festival fit. Impact being one of the bigger items, because it's like, you know, did the movie move you in some way? Did it make you laugh, cry, make you angry? And then festival fit is has to play in Beaufort, South Carolina. What plays in San Francisco may not necessarily play well in Beaufort, South Carolina.
We know that too well. Thank you, Ron. With me I have Ron Tucker, who's the head of the Beaufort Film Festival. Mark your calendars for February Film Festival in Beaufort. I'll be back in a minute with Tim Johnston, who is the founder of the Short Story America. Welcome back to Straight Talk with Billy Kay. In our last session, we had Ron Tucker, the founder of the Beaufort Film Festival, and as I introduced that segment, it was that we talk about tourism in Beaufort, but there's a lot more than just going to the beach or playing golf or playing tennis or coming to festivals in the park. There's I call them the festivals of culture, the festival of the word. With Ron, I called it the performing word, and in this case, with Short Story America, it's the red word, the written and the red word. Tim, you're the founder of Short Story America, so why don't you tell us a little bit about it, and then we'll talk a little bit about the festival, and we'll talk a little bit about how people might get involved in the movement.
Well, I'm happy to report that in January we'll be celebrating the 3rd anniversary of Short Story America. We began in January of 2010 strictly as a website that published new short stories, one new story per week. I've been writing short stories for about 12 years. I've been reading short stories since I was 5. The Pink Dolphin is a short story.
That's right.
We all start with short stories, and I believe that we should all be kids for the rest of our lives. I'm a big believer in stories that can be read in one sitting. Same reason I like movies and TV shows. And I think a lot more is conveyed to readers, and especially to thinking, intelligent readers, in one sitting than in any other format. And so I started Short Story America because I believe in the tradition of short literature. And I really believe that even though great short stories are still being written, they're awfully hard to find nowadays. Generally speaking, you have to subscribe to 30 or 40 magazines to occasionally find the good ones, and it shouldn't be that way. So the vision for Short Story America was to create an avenue for people to know, all right, here's a reliable source for short fiction. Wherever I live in the world, I can get at it and enjoy it for free if I want. Or I can get a book from Short Story America. Our Volume 2 just came out at the time of our festival last month. Billy, it was such an honor to have you there to greet all the authors who visited.
It was fun for me because I greeted people from as far away as Oregon, Vermont, all over the mid-Atlantic states, right. As well as local writers. And I think that what I want many people to understand that these are people who are going to like Beaufort. We know that. If they like short stories, if they like films, if they like certain cultural things, and part of my mission as mayor, of course, is to make sure that we remain environmentally, culturally, and fiscally sustainable. So that what I like about the written word, or the read word, or the performed word, or the acted word, is that we're really enriching the lives of those who live here, but also creating something that's going to bring like-minded people to our community.
When something like this is coming in and going out, there's a reciprocity to that it feels like a natural for Beaufort and the writers who come into town every year from Los Angeles, New York, Chicago, San Antonio, you mentioned Portland, Oregon. These people are now out there talking not just about short stories and Short Story America. I knew that they would, but I was also confident that all of these authors of short fiction would fall in love with this town and the Low Country. We moved here from Atlanta in 2004, my family and I, and we haven't looked back. We go back to Atlanta for a Braves game once in a while, but living here it's the best experience that I've had in my life. We're raising our children here. I already have had several authors tell me that in going back to where they live with their spouses, that they and their spouses are talking about, well, do we always have to live in Buffalo? James Gortel, who was here from Buffalo and gave 2 very popular workshops, they're already talking that way. This town is a natural for literature.
I know of the ones that the visitors I spoke with, every one of them said they would be back next
Yes,
year.
they will all be
This was the
back.
first?
This was the first. This was the inaugural. I'm happy to report that the second annual Short Story America Festival and Conference will be next year, September 26th through 29th. We're adding a day. We're going to 4 days. A lot of people asked for that, which is a good sign, because there wasn't enough time for all of the workshops and readings that people want to do. So we'll do more.
We know about the readings, but if I'm a writer and I live in Okatee and I'd like someone to critique my work or learn more about it, tell us a little bit about the workshops, about what.
Those were wildly popular, more so than I actually expected. I did not know that we have so many people living, say, within a 45-minute drive of Beaufort who either already write short fiction and want to get better. And what better chance than to get to visit with a facilitator who is a top-flight published short story writer who's in town. Or people who've always thought that they have stories in them. I fell in love with writing short stories, like I said, when I was a kid. Majored in English at Davidson College, loved short stories. Always thought, wow, I think I have some in me. I didn't write one until I was in my late 30s. Now I've been writing them for a dozen years. But believing in yourself as a writer sometimes means being around other people who do it and learning from someone who's done it a lot. And so all of the workshops that we had at USCB and at Short Story America, which is in Beaufort Town Center, were packed. And that's a good sign about the creative soul of the Low Country.
Tell us a little bit, because we might be able to help you sell a few books.
Sure.
I didn't think to ask you to bring them, but tell us about the anthologies that you've just...
Volume 1, which has 56 short stories in it by writers around the country and around the world. There are 5 of the 56 stories are by foreign writers. Has been out for a little over a year, and it has done very well, especially in terms of critical acclaim. The reviews have been phenomenal, which doesn't surprise me, not because I'm the editor or I have some of my own stories in it, but because the quality throughout this eclectic collection is so good. Volume 2 has just come out. It debuted at the festival, and on November 16th at the gallery on Bay Street, the evening of November 16th, we are having the formal launch party for Volume 2. And every one of your viewers is invited. That's at the gallery, Deanna Bodish's business on Bay Street, for the launch party for Volume 2.
What time is that?
That will start at 7 o'clock.
Deanna can give a good party, and
Well, she can.
so I'm going to invite y'all to Deanna's party, which is the launch for the second volume of...
She sells our books there, and the thing about people who love the arts is when I have gone in to sign books in the gallery, people walk in and they're looking at art. They're not planning to buy a book. And suddenly they stumble upon this guy who writes short stories sitting at this little table near the front door. And they say, oh, I love short stories, but I don't think I've read one in 8 or 10 years. The last one I read was The Lottery by Shirley Jackson, something like that. And you get to talking. And you find, wow, these people visiting from New Jersey, they're visiting the galleries, and now they know there's a publishing house in Beaufort. We're producing audio right now. Our first audio CD of short stories is being made in Beaufort. I'm involving only local people in the production of our audio stories, and the first one is going to be available in time for the holidays. And all of the recordings are being done by Beaufort-based people, and the producers of the audio are Beaufort-based people. And the audio will be sold here and will ship out by us to wherever people want to hear good stories, but they're being produced in Beaufort. I think Beaufort is a great, great potential home for intellectual property, for creative property. It's a natural.
That's terrific. We've got Tim Johnston, who's the founder of Short Story America. We just finished the first annual. It's annual because they've already scheduled for next fall, the second annual. But if you want to learn more, Tim, how do they get in touch with you?
Several ways. First of all, our website is shortstoryamerica.com. You can go there to find all of our contemporary stories, a classics library with over 400 stories in it. All of our contact information is there. You can also write to me at tim@shortstoryamerica.com anytime. I love to communicate back and forth with readers and writers.
Or you could come and meet Tim and buy Volume 1 and or Volume 2 of the anthology at the reception at the gallery on Bay Street in Beaufort on November 16th at 7 p.m.
Several authors will be there to sign the book. I'll be signing it, as will most likely Warren Schlesinger, Gail Westerfield, Catherine Tandy Brown. Among the now nearly 100 different authors, 4 authors in the series live right here.
Thank you for joining us with on the show, Tim.
Well, thank you very much,
Short
Billy.
Story America.
Appreciate it.
For those of you who would like to stay in touch, my website is mayorbilly.com, www.mayorbilly.com. And if you'd like to ask questions or get in touch with Tim and you didn't get his contact information, or you got anything to share with me, you can email me at billy@mayorbilly.com. Thanks for joining us.